Just say hi, like you're talking to somebody over there in the chair.
Hi, I'm Amy Singleton.
And I'm Joseph Singleton. And down here below us, you can't see him, but this is our Great Dane Doc. If he happens to raise his head up, we're just going to let the camera keep going because you're going to see a bunch of him. And we're the Singletons. We are each other's second spouse, third major relationship in our life, and we are happily in love, even though probably 2 minutes before this video we were bickering a little bit, just like married couples do. But yeah,
it takes a lot to set this up for you guys, I'm not gonna lie. On the other side of us is like a camera, a bunch of lights, a whole bunch of crap I'm not comfortable with, and it's kind of annoying, and I get really annoyed at new things and projects that I can't see through to the end in my mind. And we're kind of a walking, talking miracle. Neither of us should be alive, much less still married, happily married, sober, and together. We do not have a perfect relationship, but what we do have is a deep desire to both improve ourselves personally and thereby improve our relationship and our marriage and all the relationships in our life. In case you haven't noticed anything in the world or politics or lately the Olympics, the world seems like it's kind of freaking burning down around us.
Well, it seems like it. Media would want you to believe that, but what we believe is that there are couples out there just like us that are trying to change the world, starting with their family, starting at home, and it's spreading kind of like its own wildfire. And we want to be a part of that.
Yeah, so. And we feel like that is the way that you turn the world. We have to change the world one person at a time, starting with me, starting with him, starting with you.
I want to start by telling you how our lives almost intersected over and over and over again.
Like, literally, like a piece of DNA. It's
yeah,
so wild.
So it started for us way back in 1995. That was my senior year in high school at Westmore High School. I don't know what this means.
Westmore. Well, you don't know because you didn't go to the pep assemblies.
I didn't go to the pep assemblies.
I was over at Brink at that time because I was just 14.
I thought you were. What year did you show up at Westmore?
I would have been 96.
Okay, well then we didn't intersect there.
We almost did. You left before the year before I got there.
Oh, see, I don't know why I've always had it in my head that you got there in 95. And that we had a year we were in the same school.
I was
together.
only 14. So no, I was still at.
So scratch everything that I said. I was a senior. I was on my way out. I didn't even graduate from Westmore High School. I had other things on my mind. But that was number one. Then number two was just a few years later. I was a dad of, count them, 1, 2, 3 girls. Living in a rent house here in the east side of Moore, Oklahoma with my ex-wife and my children. And lo and behold, I find out later, living just one street away was Amy and her ex-husband and their first child. I literally could walk 60 feet out of my front door, look across a field, and see their house. But of course, I had no idea who they were. We had never met. But our lives were doing this. They were just passing.
For years.
Kind of like a DNA strand. So living in that house in East Moore, I remember that it had one of those converted garages turned into a living room, and that garage didn't have any windows. And I remember I would spend a lot of time in that garage in my early 20s. I do some pretty heavy drinking on the weekends. You know, I was 23, 24, coming up on 25 at the time, and I didn't like that. I remember getting pretty tired of that being the norm, so I gave up drinking.
I think I always kind of had it in the back of my mind. I knew that my grandfather, my mom's dad, had been an alcoholic. In fact, when he died, when I was age 5, he had a 12-year AA chip in his pocket, and so had finally gotten sober. But I knew in the back of my mind, I didn't know a lot of details about it, but I knew that he had really put my mom and her brothers through a lot, being a binge drinker when they were kids. And then a couple of my mom's brothers fell into some addiction and alcohol issues. So I was not a smoker, drinker, any kind of carouser of any way, shape, or form. And so I think I did wait till I was 21 to have that like first glass of champagne at a New Year's Eve party. I was the kind of like a frozen strawberry daiquiri here and there, and you know, kind of went back and forth on that a little bit over the years, but never anything, especially early on in life, as far as heavy drinking for me at all. My first marriage was to a guy I met in junior high school over at Brink Junior High. We met when we were 12 years old in 7th grade gym class, and were best friends from then on, pretty much. Started actually dating when we were 15 at Westmore, and then continued that relationship and just kind of kept taking that next step that you're supposed to take as a young couple in Oklahoma. So like, you know, you're hooked up with someone,
love
you just
and marriage,
yeah,
love and marriage.
you just kind of follow, you know, you commit to something, by God, you follow through with it. 17,
I met my ex-wife. We had 3 beautiful children together that are all grown adult women now. They are, other than this woman here, my favorite women on the planet. We were together for 20 years. We were married for just about 14.
After my divorce, I did have that gastric bypass surgery. I was starting to kind of go out and party a little bit. So I went out and started trying to date. I went to rodeo, which anybody from Oklahoma knows is the bar. I did proceed to meet my second major relationship, my boyfriend, in between my first husband and Joseph, there at that bar. With him, he was a very, very different person than my first husband. He was very much an outdoorsman, hunter, fisher, and a lake type person. So drinking on and off there, you know, just beers on the weekend and that kind of thing. And discovered that I had lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and all kinds of major health problems. During that time, I was put on a host of medications, up to 35 different medications of all kinds, which were having weird interactions. Depression and anxiety really, really set in my life. I didn't know how to deal with that. I knew that all those medications weren't great. So I do not recommend this, but I ditched, and I ditched all those medications, cold turkeyed off of everything, including pain medicines, psych medicines, and started doing what? Drinking. Because the little bit of drinking that I'd done in the past numbed that pain. Lack of purpose and lack of identity led me down a path of extreme depression, of extreme drinking, heavy drinking, and yeah, things got really dark for an extended period of time. I was very suicidal for a good long while, and distanced myself from all friends, all family, even my children for a short period of time, and pretty much put everyone in my life through hell. Then when I finally met Joseph, I had been sober around 8 months. After my divorce, I think I took the road that a lot of divorced men take. I started to go to bars with a lot of people that social drinking and even heavy social drinking was part of the community, part of my friendships. I wouldn't say that I had a problem with alcohol, but I had periods of heavy drinking. So I considered that myself to have a pretty decent handle on alcohol, but it did occasionally poke its head up and hurt. When we met, I wasn't. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts. I wasn't drinking, hardly at all. I was really focused on physical fitness at the time. I was doing a lot of running, a lot of weightlifting. I was working in the oil field at the time, so that's kind of what I kept myself busy with. And you were really supportive of my sobriety when we got together. You were like, that's awesome, you know? And you saw that I was working on personal development and really trying to get better. And how did we meet? We met online. We actually met on this amazing dating app called Plenty of Fish. But the app said he was 1 mile away. Uh-huh. And his home, which here's another way our lives almost intersected, his home that was literally 1 mile away to the north of where we're sitting right now. Ironically, his ex-wife's home base almost ended up next door to me. My ex-wife, she didn't move here, almost moved in next door
to my current wife.
That would have been.
That would have been a nightmare. Ended up getting engaged in just over a year.
At Eskimo Joe's, and then next thing I know, he's getting up and walking to the stage, and y'all, I yawled and okied my way into accepting his wonderful proposal.
It was a lot of fun. The darkness that was underneath that was both of our drinking had escalated at that point. We were sinking deeper and deeper into what would eventually become a terrible alcoholic haze. And this is where our story got really dark. See,
Trigger warning.
trigger warning. Yeah.
Trigger warning. This is some shit.
The night that we got married, I was saying my vows, and I was shaking. And everybody thought I was shaking because I was nervous. But what I was shaking from was the fact that I hadn't had a drink in about 24 hours, and that was too long for my body. I had gotten to a place where within 24 hours I would start to have DTs, start to shake real bad. I'd have a lot of physical symptoms to go along with the insane desire to have another drink just to put out the fire that was burning inside of me. And that carried on for us for about 4 months. It was easily the darkest time in our lives. We were both heavily depressed and suicidal. I know that I was. We carried around a lot of shame. We knew here, even with our minds pickled at the time, which is a great way to put that. It felt like shoving your brain into a pickle jar. We knew that we were destroying ourselves and we didn't know how to get out of it. We both felt really, really trapped. And in the midst of all of that, one thing we did know is that we loved each other. We didn't know how to show that in a healthy manner. We weren't violent with one another or anything like that. But our minds were really, really broken. Our mindset was broken. Our relationships with our families were broken, leading up to our sobriety date, which was April 1st of 2018. It was Easter Sunday. It was definitely our resurrection day. But leading up to that, I went on about a 2-week bender. I was drinking every day from morning until night. I had begged off of a very lucrative job because I just couldn't handle doing the work and not escaping through the alcohol. And it was an awful time. I was staying in a little trailer in the middle of nowhere in a little mobile home park in small town Oklahoma. And I would go every single day to the liquor store and get loaded up and go back to my little trailer and get loaded up and do it all over again the next day. And I remember the very last day, you loaded up in the car and came to me instead of running the other direction.
My drinking had gotten very out of control. I thought that I was hiding it pretty well from the kids. I was probably not hiding it at all from the kids. One night, I don't remember this, but I know this happened, trigger warning, suicide, and firearm. I remember you calling me, being pretty upset that his youngest daughter who lived with us had come into my bedroom because she was worried about me and found me extremely suicidal, laying with my .38 caliber pistol on the bed next to me. Not that I hadn't planned or tried before with all of those medications I'd come off of. I saved them and I poured them out into my hand many, many times before I met Joseph, during the time that we were together, during my drinking. But to have a teenage child have to come and make me safe in my own home was too much, and that still wasn't enough to make me stop. I knew that I was going to have to go there, and that life had officially, for the last time, become too unmanageable for us.
Yeah.
I had been, when I came to him in that little trailer in western Oklahoma, I had been in AA, so I kind of already knew the first step that it was going to take. So I grabbed my big book and I loaded up in the car shaking again because I had Alexa stop the timer. We're baking bread. We'll show you plenty of videos on that too. But I loaded up in the car with that AA book, shaking, trembling, because I was also in withdrawal and DTs. But I made my way out there to him. It was on a Saturday night. We had a conversation about, are we ready? And he said yes.
I had been poisoning myself for a good long time. But we got sober on Easter Sunday. We found a meeting. There are meetings all around the state, all times of the day, in just about every town that you can think of. You just have to go find them. I had no idea. Of course, up until that moment, I wasn't ready for it. The first 4 days were physical hell. I don't recommend the way that we cold turkeyed as hard as we were drinking. Neither one of us slept for 4 days. We experienced severe hallucinations, both visual and auditory hallucinations. If you've never had the hiccups, like those hard, gut-wrenching hiccups every 4 seconds for a day and a half, that's a full 36 hours, I don't recommend you try it. It's not fun. There's unless you're just into just torturing yourself. I was yelling out to God, who I hadn't talked to in a long time, to please just make it stop.
Well, we had to learn that there's a really, really big difference between not drinking and being sober.
Yeah.
And we were just not drinking at first.
Yeah.
For the first several months, which is why AA really helped us out for the first several months, being around, like he said, other people that were trying to do the same thing we were doing. But learning how to feel again, learning how to communicate again with one another, with ourselves, with people. Alcohol for me was very much a either I deserve it kind of thing, or a screw it, or my words were fuck it. I need a drink. But after that first year, that's what it was really about, was not just not drinking, but really learning how to be of sober mind and body and spirit. And that was a real challenge and a real journey together that we had to make. We are a miracle. The fact that we're alive at all, the fact that I didn't take my own life in the many, many, many times I wanted to, I thought I was supposed to, I thought that my kids, that this world, that everyone and everything was better off without me. It's a miracle that I'm still here. It's a miracle that he's still here. And even further compounding that miracle, that we got sober together, maintained our marriage, have healed ourselves and all the relationships around us. It's a miracle. And that's how we've turned our world around, and the hope that we want to offer to you, that whatever you're facing, maybe it's not as severe as what we went through. Maybe it's way, way worse.
We hope that it's not.
We hope it's not.
We hope that your story is vanilla compared to ours. But here's the truth. We know that deep down inside it's not. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's struggling.
You got some shit.
You got some shit going on.
It's okay.
And you can get through it. We got through it. We're still getting through it.
There's
each
nothing,
and every day.
And I think that's a huge takeaway, is that so many people think that we're this diamond, this perfect couple, or that there's something.
Anybody thinks that.
I hear it all the time. Like, there's something special about you guys. No, there's not. We have a commitment, and we recommit to that commitment every single day, and we work really hard at it. And everything worth doing is uphill. It's all uphill. So when you expect that, and you know that, and you commit to something bigger than yourself, you can succeed, and you can have hope. And there's hope to turn your world around, and for all of us to collectively turn this world.
What she said. Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, ring the little bell.
I don't know what that does, but make sure to do that.
It tells people when we have new content out.
Oh.
I think. I'm pretty new to YouTube myself. Hi, buddy.
Here
That's
he is.
Doc.
This is my Doc-a-doodle.
This is my dog.
You see the size of this? They can't see his head. See, look. Big head.
Big head. Subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell. Give us some comments. Let us know what you want to hear more of. We're here for you. We're here to help you turn the world around. Let's do it together.
Check my teeth.
You got mushroom from your taco. Hello. Awful.
was awful. Oh, yeah. So it's actually just sitting there recording us right now. This is awesome. Humongous head.
Doc, your head's too big. Down. Good boy.
Do you know how big this file size is, if that's the case? I don't have enough storage on the planet to get all of our bickering saved.